The famous Air Force One, the personal plane of the President of the United States, is known as the safest aircraft in the world. This presidential plane, which is different from any traditional airliner, has the world's top defense system, including anti-nuclear bomb impact facilities, a missile early warning system, an anti-missile system, a decoy system, and a nuclear bomb lockbox. Air Force One was once considered a state secret and used to serve as the highest command center for the US military during normal and nuclear wars. So what's the inside of Air Force One really like? How does the president escape when he is in danger? This time we will declassify the US Air Force One. The earliest Air Force One originated from Franklin Roosevelt, who served 4 consecutive terms as the President of the United States and used the C-54 of Douglas. The Airmaster transport plane, which was refitted from a military transport plane, included an old presidential dormitory, a wireless telephone, and a retractable elevator, making it easy for President Roosevelt to get on and off in a wheelchair. But the plane was used only once, when Roosevelt attended the famous Yalta Conference in 1945, because Roosevelt died 2 months later. During the Eisenhower period, Lockheed's Constellation airliner was used. At this time, the only improvement to the aircraft was the addition of encrypted wireless telephone and telegraph equipment. However, when Eisenhower used the plane to travel, he encountered passenger planes of the same model and code name in the same airspace, which made it impossible for tower personnel to distinguish which one was the real presidential plane. So after that, the presidential plane has its own new code name, which is Air Force One. Like the name, the presidential plane is purchased and maintained by the US Air Force. By the time of Kennedy, Air Force One had entered the jet age. At this time, the best airliner in the world at that time was used, Boeing 707-300. Moreover, the US Air Force purchased 2 at a time, and the special plane was painted red with gold patterns when it left the factory. However, the wife of the president thought it was too gorgeous, so she hired Raymond Loewy, the most famous American industrial designer at that time, to redesign the exterior painting and interior decoration of Air Force One. Loewy has designed many classic works, such as the curved bottle of Coca-Cola and NASA's Skylab space station, which are still in use today. In the design of Air Force One, Loewy used 2 kinds of blue to design the aircraft. The United States of America was written on both sides of the fuselage. Later, this design became the basic livery of successive Air Force One. By the time of Reagan, the Boeing 707 was already a little old. The US Air Force has issued requirements for the latest generation of Air Force One, requiring at least 3 jet engines and a flight range of 10,000 kilometers without refueling. At that time, Boeing provided 747 McDonnell and DC-10. In the end, the Air Force chose Boeing 747 and ordered 2 747-200 at the same time, and carried out refitting for 5 years, so it was not in service until 1990. The first user was President Bush Sr. The flight call signs of both Air Force One are Special American 28000 and 29000. When any air controller in the United States hears this special call sign, they will understand that it is Air Force One. And the Vice President of the United States also has a special plane called Air Force Two. And this Air Force Two does not refer to a specific aircraft, but a series of aircraft, including 2 Boeing modified transport planes and a special military version of the curved business jet, and their livery is the same as Air Force One. Why Air Force One has 2? The function is that one is in use and the other is a backup, and as long as the president takes one of them, the other will follow wherever, so that when the main engine fails, the president can replace the backup at any time. Moreover, the president does not decide which Air Force One to take when he travels, so that he can confuse the other party to a certain extent. And these 2 Air Force Ones are highly customized. The Boeing 747 is completely different from any Boeing 747 in the world. An ordinary Boeing 747 was priced at $80 million at the time, and the unit price of Air Force One is $400 million, which is like buying a house worth $5 million and then spending $25 million to renovate it. When the US Air Force purchased the new generation of Air Force One, it did not designate which supplier, But let the two top suppliers in the United States, Boeing and Lockheed, compete in the same field so that the two suppliers would come up with the best solution while quoting a lower price. This is the best choice under market competition. The reason why Air Force One is so expensive is that it is equipped with various safety facilities. A normal Boeing 747 has a main fuel tank under the main wing and a secondary fuel tank at the tail. But Air Force One also includes two secondary fuel tanks located one behind the other in the nacelle. In this way, the non-refueling range of the aircraft exceeds 15,000 kilometers, and it can easily cross the Pacific Ocean. If refueled in the air, Air Force One can fly non-stop for 4 days to deal with the most critical moments. At the same time, due to the replacement of GM's strongest engine, the maximum flight speed of Air Force One has increased to 1,114 kilometers per hour compared with the 900 kilometers per hour of ordinary Boeing 747s. Air Force One is also two-story, and the space below the cockpit is the president's living room, which includes a series of sofas and a single bed. Walk through the corridor to the president's office. Behind the office is the Air Emergency Center, equipped with the latest medical equipment. In the back is the kitchen, small conference room, large conference room. The rear of the plane is the seating area for senior government officials, and the last is the cabin that can accommodate up to 70 passengers, mainly the staff on the plane. On the upper level of the plane is the cockpit of the plane and a crew lounge, because the plane may have to fly for several days in a row. The nuclear bomb lockbox carried by the president is placed under the desk of the president's office, and this nuclear bomb lockbox is a device that the president must carry when traveling outside the White House. It is used to authorize the president to carry out nuclear strikes in places far away from the White House and other fixed command centers. The inside of this black suitcase is actually an aluminum box. After opening, there is a black operation manual and a button to authorize a nuclear strike. The conference room installed in the middle of Air Force One is where the president and his bureaucrats issue orders. It is equipped with the most advanced aviation communication equipment throughout the fuselage, and can call any base of the US military, even Area 51. The kitchen on Air Force One has a team of 6 chefs who can provide 3 meals a day for 100 people, as well as provide the president with exquisite meals, including delicious tacos, steak and garlic bread, Caesar salad and tortillas salad. Fun fact, Trump is the first president to order a McDonald's on Air Force One. Air Force One should be considered as the Presidential Air Command Center during a nuclear war, so it must have nuclear explosion-proof facilities. When a nuclear explosion occurs, it will produce a super strong electromagnetic radiation, EMP. The transmission distance of this kind of EMP can reach thousands of kilometers. At that time, any avionics equipment within this range will fail instantaneously or permanently, causing the aircraft to lose control and lead to a crash. The protection of Air Force One is a set of anti-nuclear explosion protection system called Defense Shield. All the spare windows on the aircraft are equipped with a layer of special explosion-proof isolation glass. In addition, the fuselage of the aircraft is also made of special protective armor, and there is a special coating on the outside, which can resist the nuclear radiation, nuclear dust, and nuclear shock waves produced by medium-distance nuclear explosions. Moreover, the main equipment in the aircraft is equipped with a multi-layer shell. The electronic components are specially reinforced, and all cables use glass fiber. More importantly, the important electronic control operating system in Air Force One has a mechanical backup for manual opening. In a critical moment, Air Force One is likely to be a target for missiles, so the aircraft is equipped with infrared that only the most advanced fighter jets have. The ultraviolet missile early warning system can warn incoming missiles by monitoring the tail flame of the missile, and cooperate with a series of infrared countermeasure systems and jamming systems on the wings of the aircraft to destroy the offensive route of the missile and cause it to fail. And this interference has only been used once. President Bush took off on Air Force One, but an unidentified passenger plane followed him shortly after takeoff. When the airliner approached, Air Force One used an infrared jamming device for the first time to jam the airliner's electronic equipment, so that the unidentified airliner's transponder equipment failed and could not be identified. Fortunately, it was a false alarm, as this was just an ordinary passenger plane passing by. Ordinary airliners are not currently equipped with escape devices. The first is that at altitudes above 10,000 meters, no parachute can be used. The second is the cost issue, as the president's special plane, if he encounters extreme danger on Air Force One, such as being hit by a missile, can the president escape? It has been described in many American movies that after Air Force One was attacked, the president took an escape device similar to the Apollo lunar module in the cargo hold, ejected directly from the slide rail of the cargo hold, and then landed to escape. This device is indeed effective in practice, but Air Force One's escape device has always been top secret and is not known to the outside world. But it is said that Air Force One does have an escape capsule similar to the one in the movie, but it is not like the Apollo lunar module, because that really takes up too much space, and the one used is probably the single-person escape pod on the B-58 bomber. This is an escape device designed for the B-58 crew members and used in emergency situations. But when the Air Force was asked about it, it said Air Force One was not equipped with an escape device. In 2009, with the Airbus A380 in service, the U.S. Air Force considered transforming the A380 into a new Air Force One, but it was finally given up due to a series of safety factors, and then it was always used because of funding issues. As the U.S. general election approached, the U.S. Air Force began building the latest generation of Air Force One based on the Boeing 747-8. The new Air Force One includes 2 aircraft, costing a total of $4 billion, and will enter service in 2024. The U.S. military has even announced the next-generation supersonic Air Force One, which can reach a top speed of Mach 5 and can reach any corner of the world within 5 hours. So did you enjoy watching the video? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button below the video, and click subscribe to stay on the top of our amazing stories from Top Amazing Studio.